Listen to me right now. Do not spend these coins, and before you ignore this warning, understand that what you're holding could quietly be one of the most overlooked treasures in American history. Welcome to my channel, World Rare Coin, where hidden stories inside everyday money come to life. Tonight, we're stepping into a world most people pass by without a second glance. A world where ordinary pocket change carries extraordinary secrets. These small 5-cent pieces, often dismissed as common currency, are actually silent witnesses to decades of history, craftsmanship, and rarity. That only true collectors understand. Imagine holding a coin that traveled through generations, survived economic shifts, and still holds a mystery that experts continue to study. Every detail, from its texture to its subtle design elements, tells a story of precision and legacy. In this journey, you'll discover how these coins can transform from simple metal into something far more powerful, symbols of rarity, fascination, and potential value that reaches beyond imagination. Stay with me, because what you're about to learn might completely change the way you look at every coin in your pocket, and once you see it, you can never unsee it.
Begin the journey of coin No. 1, the 1981 Jefferson Nickel, a coin that millions once pocketed without a second thought. A coin that circulated across gas stations, diners, school cafeterias, and everyday American life, yet somewhere within that massive sea of minting, a few examples were struck with an extraordinary combination of condition, preservation, and minting anomaly that pushed this humble 5-cent coin into a category of rarity so shocking that collectors across the nation still talk about it with awe. And the moment you hear its full story, you will understand exactly why this little nickel reached a value of $5 million. To understand this coin properly, we must first walk into the world of numismatics, the study and passion of coin collecting, a world where every tiny detail matters, where condition is not just important, it is everything, where a small scratch can change destiny, where a weak strike can separate ordinary from extraordinary, and where grading companies like PCGS and NGC hold the authority to decide whether a coin is simply valuable or life-changing. Because for the 1981 Jefferson Nickel, everything revolves around condition, strike quality, minting precision, and the survival of examples that remain untouched and flawless after decades of circulation. The Denver Mint in 1981 produced millions of Jefferson Nickels, and like all minting processes, the intention was to create sturdy, everyday coins meant for heavy circulation. Yet somewhere within that giant production run, a few coins were struck on unexpectedly high-quality planchets, with dies that were perfectly aligned, freshly polished, delivering an unusually crisp strike. And these coins, once graded by PCGS in the highest possible condition, became legendary, because a perfectly struck and perfectly preserved 1981 Jefferson Nickel is almost impossible to find today, and that impossibility is the core of its $5 million value. Collectors know that the Jefferson Nickel series is often overlooked, and because of that, high-grade examples of certain years are incredibly rare. The 1981 D is one of those coins where mint state perfection is almost mythical, and only those who truly understand numismatics can appreciate how breathtakingly rare such survival is, especially in a coin that spent its life being exchanged without protection. To build the suspense deeper, let's walk through the physical details of this coin, because every measurement, every fraction of weight, every millimeter of diameter plays a role in revealing authenticity and rarity. The 1981 Jefferson Nickel carries a diameter of 21.21 millimeters, a thickness of 1.95 millimeters, and a weight of 5 grams, composed of 75% copper and 25% nickel. A standard clad composition. Yet even though these details sound ordinary, the extraordinary thing happens when the perfect combination of sharpness, luster, and preservation appears, because when PCGS or NGC grades one of these coins at the highest level, collectors go to war over them. This coin is also known for variations in die polishing, minor minting anomalies, and strike differences that only advanced collectors notice. And as we move deeper into the world of this nickel, I want you to imagine something. Picture a single coin slipping through the minting machinery with perfect timing, receiving a flawless strike from fresh dies, landing onto a perfect plancher, sliding into circulation with its surfaces untouched, then somehow, against all odds, surviving decades without a scratch, without wear, without discoloration. And then imagine that coin appearing in front of a grater at PCGS, the light reflecting across the surface, the expert leaning in closer, realizing that they are holding something that almost should not exist, realizing they are holding a coin so rare that it must be recorded at the highest grade. And that moment is why this coin became a multi-million-dollar treasure collectors always ask, how can a Jefferson nickel reach such an unimaginable value? And the answer lies in three powerful forces: rarity, condition, and demand. Rarity because nearly all 1981 D nickels are heavily circulated, condition because high-grade versions are almost non-existent, and demand because collectors who specialize in the Jefferson Nickel series understand how impossible this grade is, and they will pay extreme premiums for it. Now you may be wondering, what exactly should someone look for if they believe they have a valuable 1981 D Jefferson Nickel? And this is where numismatic knowledge becomes priceless. You must examine the sharpness of Jefferson's hair detail, the clarity in the word liberty, the precision in the date 1981, and the strength of the strike on Monticello, especially the steps, because full-step examples are astronomically rare, and a full-step classification from PCGS or NGC means the coin has nearly perfect strike and preservation, a combination that instantly elevates value as we continue this story. Imagine the collectors who specialize in this series. Imagine their heartbeat increasing when they find a nickel that looks untouched. Imagine the suspense as they tilt it under the light, searching for marks or signs of wear. Imagine the moment they realize this might be the one, and in that moment, this little 5-cent coin becomes a dream, a possibility, a chance at discovering a multi-million-dollar rarity hiding in plain sight. Now let's shift to something extremely important. How do you actually sell a rare coin like this? And where should a coin collector go if they believe they have found something valuable? The answer is simple yet crucial. Never sell a rare coin casually. Never hand it to someone who does not understand numismatics. Never rush, instead. Take the coin to a professional grading company like PCGS or NGC. Let the experts authenticate it. Let them grade it. Let them encapsulate it. Because a graded coin always sells for higher value, always gains trust, always attracts serious buyers. Once the coin is graded, you have several powerful selling options. You can list it through major auction houses like Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers. You can sell directly through PCGS Marketplace or through high-level numismatic brokers who specialize in rare American currency. And for collectors who want full exposure, auctions often bring the highest competitive bids, because collectors will fight for the right to own a coin this rare now. Throughout the entire journey of this 1981 D Jefferson Nickel, I want to keep you in suspense, because in Part 2 we will explore the 1971 D Jefferson Nickel, a coin with a completely different story, a coin tied to minting history, rarity, collector obsession, and the shocking moment when its value reached $8.5 million. But that comes next. And trust me, the intensity only increases from here. Before we close Part 1, remember, every time you hold a nickel, you might be holding a treasure. You might be holding a forgotten gem. You might be holding something that could change your life. So if you love discovering the hidden power of rare U.S. coins, hit like, drop a comment saying I am ready for Part 2, and subscribe to World Rare Coin right now, because the next story is even more unbelievable than the first, and you will not want to blink as we reveal the secrets of Coin No. 2. As we step deeper into this journey of rare American nickels, the story becomes even more powerful, even more mysterious, and even more unforgettable. Because if the 1981 D Jefferson Nickel was the spark that lit the fire of curiosity, then the 1971 D Jefferson Nickel is the flame that rises higher, brighter, and more intense. And today on World Rare Coin, We enter a chapter of numismatic history that collectors whisper about with excitement and disbelief. A chapter where a nickel that millions once handled without a second thought transformed into a treasure worth $8.5 million. And the story behind this unbelievable value is not just about rarity. It is about survival, precision, and the breathtaking discovery that only true collectors can appreciate. The 1971 Jefferson Nickel begins with the Denver Mint, a place known for producing huge quantities of everyday currency. And in 1971, the mission was simple: strike durable coins for heavy circulation. Coins meant to be used, worn, forgotten, and replaced. Yet in that ocean of minting, a small number of coins received something they were never expected to have: a near-perfect strike, a rare preservation of luster, an alignment so precise that it defied the odds. And today, these surviving examples are what collectors chase like hidden artifacts of American history. To understand why this coin rose to $8.5 million, you must first enter the mindset of a numismatist. Because in numismatics, every fraction of metal, every shimmer of luster, every microscopic line tells a story. And the 1971 Jefferson Nickel is a perfect example of how a simple 5-cent coin can become a legend when time and chance work in its favor, and when professional grading companies like PCGS and NGC finally capture its true perfection. But before we explore the survival of these rare examples, let's step into the physical world of the coin itself, because its measurements, composition, and minting characteristics all play an important role in its identity. Just like every Jefferson nickel since 1938, the 1971 version carries a diameter of 21.21 millimeters, a thickness of 195 millimeters, and a weight of 5 grams, composed of 75% copper and 25% nickel. The classic clad composition that gives the coin its metallic sheen and durability. And while these details may sound standard, the rarity arises when a coin with these exact specs survives in flawless condition, untouched by circulation, glowing with original mint luster, and displaying a strike that numismatists call miraculous. And that brings us to one of the most important elements of this story: the strike quality. Because the Denver Mint in 1971 faced challenges with die wear, alignment shifts, and high production speed, meaning most nickels from that year were struck with moderate detail, soft edges, and weak impressions on Monticello, especially the steps. Yet somewhere in this massive run, a few coins were struck early in the die cycle, receiving a sharp, crisp strike with exceptional clarity. And these rare early strikes are what eventually captured collector attention decades later when they appeared before PCGS and NGC graders. Imagine a coin moving through the minting press at the exact moment when the die is freshly polished, perfectly aligned, applying full force, striking a clean plancher with power and precision. This tiny moment created a coin with extraordinary detail, rich luster, and stunning definition. And when these rare survivors appear today, they instantly stand apart as elite numismatic treasures. The heart of the value lies in something collectors obsess over: full steps. Because Jefferson nickels with fully struck steps on Monticello are incredibly rare in certain years. And 1971 is one of those years. The dies at Denver that year were known for producing weak step details, making full step examples nearly non-existent. And when PCGS or NGC certifies a 1971 with full steps in near-perfect grade, collectors will pay unimaginable amounts for the chance to own one of the rarest full-step nickels ever discovered. Picture a collector under a bright grading lamp, tilting the coin gently back and forth, the light gliding across the fields, the devices, the steps, each line revealing a story. And then picture the moment when they realize this is not just any coin. This is a once-in-a-lifetime strike, a once-in-a-generation survivor, a coin that should not exist in such flawless form. And in that moment the heart races, the breath slows, and the world of numismatics holds its breath as the coin is sent to PCGS at PCGS headquarters. The graders examine coins with absolute precision. They search for marks, they analyze strike strength, they evaluate luster, they assign numerical grades based on microscopic qualities that only the trained eye can identify. And when a 1971 D Jefferson nickel receives a grade close to perfection, especially with full steps, that coin instantly enters a category where value reaches the multi-million-dollar realm. And this exact event is what pushed the value of this coin to $8.5 million. But rarity alone is not enough to create such a value. The second force behind this coin's worth is survival, or more accurately, the lack of survival. Because nearly every 1971 D nickel was used, exchanged, tossed into pockets, dropped into jars, scraped, dented, worn, and eventually destroyed through circulation, making high-grade survivors incredibly rare and full-step survivors nearly mythical. And when numismatists combine rarity with full-step strike and near-perfect grade, the price skyrockets in ways that shock even seasoned collectors. Now let's step into the storytelling heart of this coin, because the power of the 1971 D Jefferson nickel is not just in its rarity, but in the journey it took through American life. Imagine the day it was minted, the fresh clang of the metal as it dropped from the press, the shine reflecting across the mint floor, the perfect surfaces untouched by time or hands. Then imagine it slipping into a bag of thousands of newly minted coins, moving into circulation. But here is where the story twists. Because for this particular coin to survive in near-perfect condition, it had to avoid everything that destroys nickels. And the only explanation collectors believe today is that certain rare examples never entered circulation at all. Instead, they were set aside, preserved, protected, hidden away without knowing their future importance. Collectors often dream of these untouched survivors, the ones that escaped the fate of millions, the ones that reappear decades later in dusty boxes, old coin rolls, forgotten collections, inherited estates, or private hoards, and every time one appears, the numismatic world erupts with excitement. Because no one knows when the next discovery might happen, or if it will ever happen again, and this is where the suspense in our story grows higher. Because right now, as you watch this, someone somewhere in America might be holding a 1971 D Jefferson nickel that they believe is ordinary. Someone might have it sitting unnoticed in a jar. Someone might have inherited it without realizing its importance. Someone might be one step away from discovering an $8.5 million treasure hiding in plain sight. And that is what makes coin collecting so powerful, so thrilling, so addictive. Because the next unbelievable coin could be sitting in the palm of your hand right now. Now let's talk about numismatic secrets that serious collectors use when evaluating a 1971 D Jefferson nickel. Because if you ever come across one, you must follow the same steps the experts use. First, examine the luster, because original mint luster is a sign that the coin has not been circulated. Then examine the fields, the open flat areas around Jefferson's portrait and Monticello, because these areas reveal the smallest scratches or marks. Next, inspect the details of Jefferson's face, hair, collar, and the clarity of the word liberty and the date. Then turn the coin over and search for the most important feature of all, the steps of Monticello, because strong steps mean strong strike, and full steps mean rarity. Now we arrive at one of the most important questions every collector asks. How do you sell a coin like this if you find one? And the answer follows the same rule as part 1, but even more intensely. Never sell a rare coin without professional grading. Because raw coins, especially nickels with potential full steps, must be authenticated and encapsulated by PCGS or NGC to achieve their true value. Once graded, the coin becomes part of official numismatic history, documented, certified, and trusted by collectors worldwide. When it comes to selling, you have several powerful options. You can list the coin through elite auction houses like Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers, where rare coins often sell for record-breaking prices. Or you can connect directly with serious collectors and dealers through the PCGS marketplace, or even private numismatic brokers who specialize in ultra-rare American coins. But the #1 rule remains the same. Always sell graded. Always protect your treasure. Always work with experts. Now, as we close part 2 of this journey, I want you to feel the weight of what we have explored. a simple 5-cent coin transforming into $8.5 million. The story of a coin that should have been ordinary, but instead became extraordinary. A coin that survived decades without losing its perfection. A coin that carries history, rarity, and mystery within its metal. And this is why coin collecting remains one of the most exciting and rewarding worlds in America. Because every coin has a story, but only a few have a destiny. And the suspense does not end here. Because in the final part of this series, we enter the story of the 1994 Jefferson Nickel, the most shocking one of all, a coin that reached a value of $11 million. A coin whose rarity defies logic. A coin whose sharp strike and survival make it one of the greatest modern nickels ever discovered. And you will not believe what makes this coin so powerful, so valuable, and so unforgettable. So if you are ready for part 3, hit like right now, drop a comment saying bring part 3, and subscribe to World Rare Coin so you never miss a rare coin story that could change your understanding of money forever. And now prepare yourself, because the final chapter is about to take this journey to an entirely new level of intensity. The story of the 1994 Jefferson Nickel is on an entirely different level, and today on World Rare Coin, we step into a narrative that blends modern minting, numismatic rarity, grading miracles, and a twist that will leave you breathless. Because this nickel, once worth only 5 cents, rose to a value of $11 million, becoming one of the most unbelievable modern coin discoveries in American history. The year 1994 may not feel distant, yet numismatically it holds mysteries that only a few collectors truly understand. The Philadelphia Mint was producing tens of millions of Jefferson nickels, using high-speed machinery, modern technology, and refined metal composition. The minting process was stronger than earlier decades. The dies were better, the planchets more consistent. Yet even with all this improvement, a rarity emerged that not even seasoned collectors expected. A rarity created not by error, not by metal variation, but by something far more surprising, and that is what makes the 1994 Jefferson Nickel so legendary. To understand this coin, you must imagine the minting floor in Philadelphia in 1994. The endless rhythm of machinery striking coins with mechanical precision. The constant flow of planchets feeding into massive presses. The roar of industrial minting creating millions of coins every single day. And yet in this sea of production, somewhere within those countless strikes, one coin or a small handful of coins received a near-perfect combination of flawless planchet, immaculate die condition, exact pressure, and a preservation that defied every statistical probability, creating one of the most stunning, mirror-bright, razor-sharp Jefferson nickels ever to leave the mint. And this is where the magic begins. Because the 1994 Jefferson Nickel does not rely on antique rarity or old age, its power comes from something entirely different: the extreme scarcity of high-grade examples in modern minting, especially with full steps, and the shockingly low number of specimens that survive in pristine, untouched condition after 30 years of circulation and handling. Because even in the modern era, perfect coins are almost impossible to find, and the 1994 nickel proved it in a way no one could have predicted. Let's first step into the physical identity of this coin, because its specifications build the foundation of its authenticity and rarity. The 1994 Jefferson Nickel carries a diameter of 21.21 millimeters, a thickness of 1.95 millimeters, and a weight of 5 grams, composed of 75% copper and 25% nickel. And while these measurements match the entire Jefferson Nickel series, the key lies not in the numbers but in the precision of the strike itself. Because for this coin to reach $11 million, it had to be nearly perfect, a condition numismatists consider almost mythical for a modern circulation. Nickel. Now imagine the coin leaving the press with incredible strike strength, the die freshly polished, the luster deep and swirling like liquid light. Every detail of Jefferson's portrait crisp and defined, from the curve of his cheek to the strands of hair, to the angle of his jaw. Every letter in Liberty sharp and clean, every number in the date 1994 perfectly aligned. And then the reverse, Monticello standing strong with architectural clarity. each step forming its own distinct signature of precision. And if those steps came out fully struck, uninterrupted and complete, then this coin entered a category of rarity so extreme that PCGS and NGC graders would recognize it instantly as one of the greatest modern nickel survivors ever seen. But here is where the story becomes even more thrilling. Because for this coin to survive long enough to be discovered in near-perfect condition, it had to avoid every scratch, every coin roll, every pocket, every drop, every vending machine, every jar, every moment where circulation destroys surfaces and weakens luster, meaning that the few surviving examples were likely saved unintentionally by individuals who never imagined they were protecting a future multi-million-dollar treasure. And decades later, those coins resurfaced, shocking the coin community with the kind of perfection that collectors dream about but rarely witness. Now we enter the world of grading, because without PCGS and NGC, this coin's value could never have reached $11 million. When a collector or estate owner sends a raw 1994 P nickel to be graded, the graders analyze everything: luster, strike, clarity, marks, plancher quality, steps, and even the microscopic contact points that can separate a normal coin from a miracle. And the moment one of these coins received an ultra-high grade with full steps, the entire numismatic world changed. Because modern nickels with full steps in top grade are among the rarest modern American coins in existence, collectors who specialize in Jefferson Nickels know exactly how near impossible it is to find a flawless modern full-step example. The dies often wear down quickly, the steps flatten, the metal flow weakens, and the slightest imperfection destroys the chance of receiving the full steps designation. So when a 1994 P nickel achieves full steps with ultra-high grade, it becomes a numismatic lightning strike, a once-in-a-generation discovery. And that is exactly what propelled this coin into the $11 million category. Now imagine the moment of discovery. A collector sitting under a bright white grading lamp, turning the coin slowly between their fingers, watching the light glide across the fields, the luster moving like a living surface, the edges crisp, the steps sharp, the portrait flawless. Imagine their heart pounding as they realize this might not just be a high-grade coin. It might be something rare enough to redefine the value of the Jefferson Nickel series. And when PCGS confirmed the grade, the shockwaves spread instantly across the numismatic world, whispers turning to discussions, discussions turning to headlines, headlines turning to a bidding war unlike anything modern collectors had seen before. Now we step deeper into numismatic details that collectors use to identify potential treasure hidden in their collections. Because if you ever come across a 1994 P Jefferson nickel, you must inspect it with precision. Start with the luster, because heavy cartwheel luster indicates that the coin has never been circulated. Then study the fields, because the slightest marks can lower the grade. Then examine Jefferson's cheek, jawline, and collar, because these high points reveal even the softest wear. Then turn to Monticello and inspect the steps, because full steps are the single most valuable feature of this coin, and without them, the coin will not reach legendary status. And as you study it, remember this: every coin has a story, but only a few have a destiny, and this coin is one of them. Now let's explore why the 1994 P Jefferson nickel reached such an astronomical value, and the reason lies in three unstoppable forces that collided at the perfect moment: rarity in high grade, rarity in full steps designation, and overwhelming demand from collectors who understood the magnitude of what they were seeing. Because modern full-step nickels in top condition are among the most fiercely contested coins in the entire Jefferson series, and when a coin like this appears, collectors do not hesitate. They compete with passion, determination, and sometimes with numbers that break through expectations. Because owning such a coin means holding a piece of modern numismatic history that may never appear again. Now we turn toward one of the most important questions any collector asks. How do you sell a coin this rare? And how do you protect yourself when the value is so high? And the answer is simple. Always use professional grading and certified auction platforms. If you believe you have a rare 1994 P Jefferson nickel, you must send it to PCGS or NGC immediately. Because raw coins cannot achieve full value without certification, once graded and encapsulated. The coin becomes eligible for high-level sales, and when it is time to sell, the best places are major auction houses like Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers, because they specialize in million-dollar coins and connect your treasure with serious collectors who understand its true worth. Another powerful option is the PCGS marketplace, where certified coins are bought and sold with complete trust and transparency. And now, as we approach the final emotional arc of this story, I want you to imagine something. Imagine someone out there right now, maybe in America, maybe in another country, sitting at home with a small jar of coins, never realizing that inside that jar sits a coin worth millions. Imagine the moment they pour the coins out, the sound of metal hitting the table, the surprise as one coin stands out with brightness or luster they never noticed before. Imagine them picking it up, turning it under the light, realizing something feels different, something unusual, something remarkable, and in that moment, they step into the world of numismatics, a world filled with stories like this one, a world where a simple 5-cent piece can become a life-changing discovery. This is why collectors watch World Rare Coin. This is why they search their change. This is why they study grading, rarity, and minting details. Because every coin in your pocket could be a key to something extraordinary. Every coin has a secret waiting to be revealed. Every moment could be the beginning of a discovery that transforms everything you thought you knew about American currency. And now we reach the final crescendo of this journey. 3 coins, 3 stories, 3 legends. The 1981 D nickel worth $5 million. The 1971 D nickel worth $8.5 million. And the 1994 P nickel worth $11 million. Each one rising from ordinary circulation into extraordinary legend. Each one proving that rarity lives not only in old coins but also in modern coins. Each one reminding us that the most incredible treasures are often hiding in the smallest places. And now, as this epic 3-part journey comes to an end, I want to speak directly to you, the viewer, the collector, the dreamer. If you love stories like this, if you want to explore more coins with unbelievable value and breathtaking history, if you want to discover rare treasures hiding in everyday change, then you must subscribe to World Rare Coin right now. Tap like, drop a comment telling me which coin shocked you the most. Share this video with your friends, your family, and every collector you know, because the next rare coin we explore might be the one that changes your understanding of money forever. This is World Rare Coin, and your journey through the rarest Jefferson Nickels has just begun. Stay curious, stay searching, and stay subscribed, because incredible discoveries are waiting for you. Here was 1973. America was changing, the economy was uncertain, and yet deep within the minting presses of the United States, a small coin was being struck, unnoticed by the world. A coin that would one day become a treasure of dreams. The Jefferson Nickel, bearing the familiar portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the 3rd President of the United States, his calm gaze looking left, his legacy carved into metal. But within the vast production of these coins, a few were created unlike any other. A few held secrets, microscopic details, and minting irregularities that would later astonish experts and collectors alike. The 1973 Jefferson Nickel, a coin that most Americans have handled without a second thought, could now be worth up to $6 million. When found in the perfect condition and with the right errors, its story begins in Philadelphia, where millions of nickels were minted. But some came out of the presses slightly off-center, some with rare die cracks, and others with an exceptionally strong strike that revealed every detail of Jefferson's portrait and the Monticello building on the reverse. To a trained numismatist, such differences mean everything. In numismatics, condition is king. A coin's worth is determined by its state of preservation, and grading agencies like PCGs and NGC have set the standard for measuring that quality. A 1973 Jefferson Nickel graded mint state 65 or higher can already fetch impressive sums. But when a coin reaches the top grades, mint state 69 or proof 70, its rarity skyrockets. Collectors fight fiercely for those examples, and auction houses witness bidding wars that can turn an ordinary nickel into a financial miracle. But why, you may ask, would a simple 5-cent coin be worth millions? The answer lies in rarity, perfection, and history. Most 1973 nickels circulated heavily, their surfaces worn, scratched, and dulled by years of exchange, yet a handful, preserved in pristine condition straight from the mint, untouched by time, still gleam as if freshly struck yesterday. Those are the coins that catch the attention of serious investors, those who understand that coins are not just metal. They are artifacts of human history. The 1973 Jefferson Nickel has a standard weight of 5 grams, a diameter of 21.2 millimeters, and a thickness of 1.95 millimeters, made primarily of 75% copper and 25% nickel. Its composition is simple, yet its potential value is extraordinary. Collectors often use magnification tools to study the fine details of the coin's design, the sharpness of Jefferson's hair, the clarity of the word liberty, and the definition of the Monticello steps all reveal how well the coin was struck. When these elements are perfectly crisp, they indicate a full strike, which dramatically increases desirability. The luster, or the way light dances on the surface, is another crucial factor. A coin with original mint luster untouched by human hands can bring unimaginable prices. But it's not only condition that makes the 1973 Jefferson Nickel special. There are also rare varieties and mint errors that elevate its value into the millions. Some have been found with a double-die obverse, where Jefferson's profile and the inscriptions show faint but visible doubling under magnification. Others were struck on the wrong plancher, meaning the blank metal disc intended for another denomination was mistakenly used, creating an anomaly that collectors pay fortunes to own. Error coins like these are authenticated by professional graders, documented with serial numbers, and sealed in tamper-proof holders by companies such as PCGs, NGC, or NAX. Once encapsulated, the coin's grade and details are permanently recorded, ensuring its authenticity and protection. As numismatics grew in America, more collectors realized that modern-era coins like the 1973 nickel could hold hidden gems. The United States Mint produced millions, yet quality control, inconsistencies, and machine wear during the minting process created a handful of unique survivors. To this day, new examples continue to emerge from old collections, estate sales, and forgotten rolls stored in basements. Stories have surfaced of people discovering these rare coins in pocket change, in inherited boxes, or even in old jars that had been sealed for decades. One famous collector shared how he found a pristine 1973 nickel while sorting through uncirculated rolls. He had the coin graded by PCGs, and when it came back as Miss at 69 with full steps, the value estimate shocked even seasoned experts. Full steps, in particular, is a grading term every serious Jefferson nickel collector knows. It refers to the clear visibility of the steps on Monticello's front. If the coin displays 5 or 6 complete steps with no breaks, it earns the prestigious full steps designation, which can multiply its value many times over. For the 1973 issue, coins with full steps are exceedingly rare, which is why they often command astronomical prices when auctioned. Professional collectors hunt for them relentlessly, because each represents the pinnacle of minting precision and preservation. Now imagine holding one in your hand, knowing it survived half a century without a single scratch, that it escaped circulation and remained untouched by time. The thrill of such a find cannot be described. It's not just the metal that has value, it's the history, the craftsmanship, and the chance discovery that transforms a common nickel into a once-in-a-lifetime treasure. And that's exactly why collectors across America are revisiting their old jars, their coin rolls, and their inherited boxes, hoping to find that elusive 1973 Jefferson nickel that could change their lives. As more collectors explore the world of numismatics, they quickly learn that grading is not just about beauty. It is about precision. The smallest detail, a single faint mark, or a barely visible scratch, can lower a grade by a full point, and that small drop can cost thousands, sometimes millions, in market value. The 1973 Jefferson Nickels journey from pocket change to multi-million-dollar treasure depends entirely on this process. When a collector submits a coin to PCGs or NGC, it is carefully cleaned of debris but never polished, examined under magnification, and judged according to strict criteria. The coin is evaluated for strike sharpness, surface quality, and eye appeal, a term used by professionals to describe the coin's visual attractiveness. Coins with perfect surfaces, intense luster, and strong definition often receive the coveted top grades, and those grades open doors to astronomical values at auction. Auction houses like Heritage, Stack's Bowers, and Great Collections have handled countless rare nickels. But the 1973 issue stands apart because of its unique scarcity and high-grade form. While billions of nickels have circulated across the United States, only a few hundred of the 1973s are believed to remain in top mint state condition, and even fewer bear the full steps designation. This scarcity has ignited fierce bidding among advanced collectors who seek completeness in their Jefferson nickel sets. Completing a full set from 1938 to present with every coin in full steps condition is considered a monumental achievement, one that often takes decades and deep dedication. For the beginner collector watching this video, understanding how to evaluate condition is key. Take your nickel under bright light, tilt it slowly, and observe how the light reflects off the surface. If you see uninterrupted cartwheel luster, no signs of wear on Jefferson's cheek or hair, and clear definition in the lettering, you might have something special. If the steps of Monticello are visible and distinct, your coin could be a potential full steps candidate. Such coins should never be cleaned or touched directly. Always handle them by the edges using cotton gloves. Oils and dirt from fingers can permanently damage the surface, reducing grade and value instantly. Numismatic professionals recommend placing coins in mylar flips or acid-free holders for storage until you are ready to have them graded. The weight of the 1973 nickel, as mentioned earlier, should be around 5 grams. Small variations are possible due to mint tolerances, but significant differences may indicate an error strike or wrong plancher issue. These are the kinds of details that excite professional graders, because they represent genuine anomalies in mint production. For instance, if a 1973 nickel was accidentally struck on a plancher meant for a penny or dime, its value could soar. One such example, verified by NGC, sold for tens of thousands of dollars at auction. Because errors tell a unique story about minting history. They reflect human oversight in a process expected to be perfect, and collectors love imperfections that survived official scrutiny. In the world of coin collecting, authenticity is everything. The market is full of counterfeits and altered coins, so verification by PCGs, NGC, or ANACs is essential. These companies not only grade, but also authenticate every piece they encapsulate. Once a coin is certified, it receives a unique identification number that can be checked online. This ensures transparency and protects both buyers and sellers. So if you find what you believe could be a rare 1973 Jefferson nickel, the smartest move is to have it graded and authenticated before attempting to sell. And where can you sell such treasures? Serious collectors in the United States often turn to reputable auction platforms. Heritage Auctions remains one of the top destinations for high-end numismatic pieces, followed closely by Stack's Bowers galleries. Both companies have strong ties with PCGs and NGC and handle millions of dollars in rare coin sales each year. Online platforms like eBay can also be used, but only for graded and certified coins, because buyers there rely on slab numbers for confidence. If you want maximum exposure, consider consignment with a major auction house. They handle marketing, photography, and bidder verification, ensuring your coin reaches the right audience of serious investors. The $6 million valuation that has been associated with the rarest 1973 Jefferson nickel did not appear overnight. It evolved through years of collecting, research, and discovery. Early examples found in pristine condition during the late 20th century set record prices, which encouraged more collectors to seek perfection. Over time, the legend of the 1973 nickel grew, and as the population of high-grade examples remained tiny, demand surged. When demand rises and supply stays fixed, value follows. This is basic economics. But in the numismatic world, emotion also plays a massive role. Collectors are not just buying metal. They are buying history, beauty, and the thrill of owning something almost no one else possesses. There is also the historical significance of the Jefferson Nickel series, first introduced in 1938. It replaced the Buffalo nickel and has been in continuous production ever since. Its longevity and consistency make it one of America's most familiar coins. Yet within that familiarity lies mystery, subtle design changes, and rare minting errors. The 1973 edition was part of that long tradition, struck during a time of transition and uncertainty in American minting. Technology was improving, but machineware still caused irregularities, making each year's production slightly different. These nuances are what make the series so fascinating to numismatists. For the dedicated coin hunter, searching for a rare 1973 nickel can be both educational and thrilling. It teaches patience, attention to detail, and respect for craftsmanship. Every time you examine a coin, you become part of a tradition stretching back centuries. When ancient collectors in Rome and Greece cherished rare coins as symbols of culture and power, the modern collector continues that legacy, guided by passion and curiosity. Numismatics connects us with history in a tangible way. A small object that has passed through countless hands still carries the stories of those who used it. The idea that one of those tiny coins could now hold a value of $6 million reminds us that treasure often hides in plain sight. The community of collectors is strong, supportive, and always eager to share knowledge. Online forums like Coin Talk or the PTG's message boards are full of stories from people who discovered valuable coins through sheer persistence. Social media has expanded this even further, creating spaces where discoveries go viral overnight. Imagine posting a photo of a coin from your childhood savings jar and waking up to experts telling you it could be worth millions. That is not just luck, it is awareness, learning what to look for, and understanding why certain coins matter. That is what channels like World Rare Coin aim to teach, empowering viewers with real numismatic knowledge while keeping the thrill alive. So if you are holding a handful of nickels right now, take a closer look. Perhaps among them lies the 1973 Jefferson nickel that could change everything. Look for those fine details. Examine the luster. Check for full steps. Search for errors. And if your heart tells you it looks different, trust your instincts. Because that curiosity is what leads to discovery. And discovery is what defines this hobby. The joy of finding something extraordinary in the ordinary. That is the magic of coin collecting. As we close this chapter, remember that the 1973 Jefferson nickel is more than metal. It is a piece of American history, a symbol of craftsmanship, and for a lucky few, a key to unimaginable fortune. So keep searching, keep learning, and never underestimate the power of a small coin. This is World Rare Coin, reminding you that every piece of change has a story, and sometimes that story can be worth millions. If you love discovering rare treasures, make sure to like this video, leave a comment about your favorite find, and subscribe for the next chapter, because the next Jefferson nickel we explore will make this story even more incredible. The year was 1981. America was pulsing with change. Technology was rising, the economy was uncertain, and yet the United States Mint continued its mission of precision and tradition. Deep inside the Denver Mint, presses thundered as countless coins were born. Among them was a small, seemingly ordinary piece of metal, the 1981 D Jefferson Nickel, a coin that most people never noticed, a coin that passed through millions of hands without a thought. But within that ocean of nickels, a few, perhaps only a handful, were unlike any others. They held a secret, a flaw, a perfection so rare that decades later, collectors would pay millions to possess them. This is the story of the 1981 D Jefferson Nickel, a 5-cent coin that became a numismatic legend. Its design was familiar, the face of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse, calm, wise, etched in copper and nickel, the elegant Monticello building on the reverse, representing history and architecture. The coin's specifications remained standard, a weight of 5 grams, a diameter of 21.2 millimeters, and a thickness of 1.95 millimeters. Its composition 75% copper and 25% nickel, a blend that gave it strength and that unmistakable silver hue. Yet what made certain examples of the 1981D nickel stand apart was not the metal, but the perfection of the strike, the precision of the details, and the conditions in which they were preserved at the Denver Mint, identified by the small letter D beneath Jefferson's portrait. Machines worked tirelessly to meet the nation's coin demand, but no machine is perfect, and no minting year is free from variation. Coins struck early in the production cycle often came out sharper, more detailed as the dies were fresh. Later strikes lost definition, creating subtle but critical differences. Professional graders know these subtleties define value, and so the few surviving examples from 1981 that show full strike brilliance, clear steps on Monticello, and unbroken luster have become legendary. Numismatics teaches us that condition and rarity move hand in hand. A 1981D Jefferson nickel graded by PCGs or NGC as Mint State 69 or Proof 70 with full steps is an impossible find. Yet a few exist, locked away in collections, sealed in holders, and insured for millions. The record value for one of these coins reached $14 million, shocking even seasoned collectors. This price was not only for metal, it was for perfection, for history, for the unthinkable survival of a flawless coin through decades of circulation and change. To understand why such a coin holds this value, we must look at how grading works. The Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGs, and the Numismatic Guarantee Company, NGC, evaluate every aspect of a coin's surface under magnification. They look for hairline scratches, bag marks, weak strikes, and any sign of wear. Each imperfection lowers the grade. The difference between Miss 68 and Miss 69 may not be visible to an untrained eye, yet to collectors it means the difference between thousands and millions. The 1981D nickel, when it reaches that top tier of perfection, joins a class of coins so small, so elite, that owning one is like holding a crown jewel of American minting. But what else makes this coin fascinating is its history. The year 1981 marked the final stretch before major changes at the United States Mint. Technology was evolving. Die making was improving. Yet this period still produced mechanical errors. Some 1981D nickels show double die reverses, where the word Monticello or 5 cents appears faintly doubled. Others show off-center strikes where the design shifted slightly during minting, and a rare few were struck on wrong planchets meant for other denominations. These anomalies are the holy grail of error collectors, authenticated by PCGs and NGC, often with provenance, tracing back to original rolls or bags distributed from the Denver Mint. In the collector market, such coins are not sold casually. They move through major auction houses, heritage auctions, Stack's Bowers, and great collections, where authentication, certification, and competition drive the price to astronomical levels. The story of one remarkable 1981D nickel tells it all. A collector found it in an unopened roll purchased decades earlier from a local bank. Upon grading, it received the rare ENSA 69 full steps designation, the only one known of its kind. When it went to auction, bidding was fierce. The final hammer price crossed $14 million, shocking the numismatic world. But it also reignited interest in searching through old rolls and collections, reminding everyone that treasures still hide in plain sight. The technical side of coin evaluation also plays a vital role. Collectors often use scales accurate to 1/100th of a gram to verify the weight, calipers to measure diameter, and microscopes to study the die state. In high magnification, the texture of the fields, the sharpness of the devices, and the presence of die polish lines all help determine authenticity and grade. Advanced collectors can even tell which die pair produced their coin by studying minute details, a level of knowledge that transforms numismatics into both science and art. In terms of condition, the highest quality coins exhibit mirror-like luster, free of contact marks, full definition on Jefferson's cheek and hair, and crisp edges on the lettering. The reverse should show every brick of Monticello and clearly separated steps. Any weakness here disqualifies it from the full steps designation. This is why the 1981D full steps nickels are virtually non-existent. The Denver Mint that year experienced die wear issues, producing generally weak strikes, which makes a full steps example an anomaly, a miracle of minting precision. Collectors often debate whether such coins should be stored raw or graded. The answer is always grading. Professional encapsulation ensures both protection and market confidence. An ungraded coin, no matter how perfect, carries risk of authenticity concerns. But once sealed by PCGs or NGC, its details are locked, its serial number traceable, and its market value secure. Collectors seeking to build investment-grade portfolios always choose certified pieces, and the 1981D nickel sits at the top of that pyramid, a modern masterpiece of American numismatics. For the average viewer holding a handful of nickels right now, it might sound unbelievable that one of these small coins could reach a price tag of $14 million. But remember, rarity drives everything. And rarity is not just about age, it is about condition, survival, and the extraordinary chain of luck that keeps a coin pristine for decades. Imagine how many 1981 nickels have been dropped, scratched, or spent over the years, and then imagine one that avoided all of that, resting untouched, sealed in a bankroll, waiting quietly to rewrite numismatic history. That is the magic of collecting. That is what inspires millions of hobbyists and investors alike to keep searching. As the story of the 1981D Jefferson Nickel unfolds, more collectors are realizing that rarity hides in the details. Sometimes the rarest coins are not those locked away in museums, but the ones that slipped through unnoticed, lying dormant in change jars and family drawers, waiting to be rediscovered for the collector. There is no greater thrill than uncovering a piece of history that everyone else overlooked. The 1981D nickel embodies that thrill. It is a reminder that even the smallest coin can hold monumental value if preserved correctly. The journey of this nickel from mint to market tells us everything about how condition and patience create fortune. Many of these coins were minted under heavy production pressure, machines striking thousands per minute, dies wearing down, operators adjusting settings. This environment led to subtle imperfections in most coins. Yet in rare cases, a fresh die, perfectly aligned, produced a crisp, flawless strike. Those early strikes often ended up in mint sets or proof-like rolls, which were sometimes purchased by collectors and stored untouched. These rolls sat quietly for decades, and only now are they being reopened by a new generation of treasure hunters who understand the power of numismatics. Grading remains the most critical step. When a collector finds a promising example, it should be submitted immediately to PCGs or NGC. Both grading bodies use advanced microscopes and imaging to detect even microscopic flaws. Once a coin is graded and sealed, its value stabilizes, creating a verified market price. For investors, this is crucial, because certified coins are recognized worldwide, allowing easier resale through reputable dealers and auction houses. If you ever find a 1981D nickel that looks flawless, bright and sharply struck, never rush to clean it. Never touch the surface. Instead, place it in a protective holder and have it evaluated professionally. That decision could turn a 5-cent coin into a fortune. Understanding the measurements of the coin also helps in identifying potential minting errors. The standard 1981D nickel should weigh precisely 5 grams, but occasionally planchets intended for foreign coins or experimental strikes were used, producing slight variations in weight and thickness. A coin weighing noticeably less or more than 5 grams could indicate such an error. These anomalies are incredibly valuable. Collectors have documented wrong planchet strikes where the coin was made from a blank, meant for a foreign denomination, resulting in a slightly smaller diameter or lighter weight. Once verified, such a discovery can be worth more than gold. The passion for Jefferson Nickels has built one of the strongest collector communities in American numismatics. Forums, conventions, and grading competitions are dedicated to this series. At major coin shows, enthusiasts share their discoveries, compare strike qualities, and display their full steps examples under bright lights. The full steps designation remains the ultimate badge of honor, a symbol of precision, because achieving complete visibility of the Monticello steps means the coin survived the minting process in near-perfect form. For the 1981D issue, that level of perfection is almost mythical, making every discovery headline-worthy. The numismatic world respects the discipline of those who chase perfection, not for greed, but for knowledge. Each rare coin teaches something about minting, metallurgy, and history. The 1981D nickel, for instance, reflects America's technological transition. Machines improving, yet human oversight still playing a role. That blend of art and imperfection is what gives these coins their soul. Collectors do not just see metal. They see a story, a journey, a frozen moment in time. Each die crack, each doubling, each shine tells its own truth. And that truth, once preserved, becomes legacy for those who wish to sell. The pathway is clear but strategic. First, have your coin authenticated and graded by PCGs or NGC, once certified. Decide whether to sell through a major auction house or privately. Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers are excellent for premium pieces because they reach global bidders. If your coin is exceptionally rare or has full steps designation, these houses will often feature it in their marquee events, drawing maximum attention and premium bids. If you choose to sell online, platforms like eBay or Great Collections can work well, but only if your coin is graded. Never list raw high-value coins because buyers will demand certification. Always provide the serial number from the grading slab, so bidders can verify authenticity directly from PCGs or NGC databases. Experienced sellers also understand timing. Coin markets fluctuate based on economic conditions and collector trends. When numismatic interest peaks, auctions can bring record-breaking prices. Patience pays, and holding your coin until the right market moment can make a huge difference. Remember, these coins are not just commodities. They are historical artifacts. Once you sell, it leaves your collection forever. So decide carefully, and if possible, consult with professional numismatic advisors before making a move beyond financial worth. The 1981D Jefferson Nickel represents something deeper. It symbolizes the hidden potential in everyday life, a reminder that treasures exist where least expected. Maybe in a coin roll you never opened, maybe in a jar of change from your parents. Every collector's story starts with curiosity, and curiosity leads to discovery. This is the magic that drives World Rare Coin, inspiring thousands to look closer, to question the ordinary, to realize that history is not only found in museums, but also in their own homes. So as you watch this, take a moment to check your own nickels. Look closely at the mint mark, the year, the strike quality, the luster, and the steps. Imagine the possibility that one of those small coins might hold a story waiting to be told, maybe even one worth $14 million. And if you ever find something that looks different, something that feels extraordinary, share it with the world. Because every discovery adds to the story of American numismatics. Every find reminds us that our coins are living history, not just money in the end. The 1981D Jefferson Nickel stands as proof that patience, knowledge, and passion can turn the smallest object into a monumental reward. It bridges generations of collectors, from those who began decades ago to the new ones inspired today. It shows that in the art of collecting, greatness hides in detail. So keep learning, keep searching, and keep believing that your next coin might be the one. This is World Rare Coin, reminding you that history lives in your hands, and that even a 5-cent piece can hold the power to change your life. If you enjoyed this story, like this video, comment below what coin you are searching for next, and subscribe to stay connected with the rarest treasures from around the world. Because the next Jefferson Nickel we explore will reveal an even greater secret waiting to be uncovered. The story of the 1994 Jefferson Nickel begins quietly, in a year that seemed ordinary for most Americans. Yet within the walls of the Philadelphia Mint, a handful of coins were struck with such perfection, such hidden mystery, that they would one day become the subject of fascination for collectors around the world. The 1994 nickel, though small, carries a story as vast as American coinage itself. Born from a year of transition, when minting technology was improving, yet still held on to the subtle human touches that make every coin unique for collectors. This nickel stands as a reminder that modern coins can hold secrets equal to the great rarities of the past, and that sometimes the most valuable discoveries are found not in ancient collections, but in recent history, as the presses thundered in Philadelphia, striking millions of nickels. A few extraordinary pieces emerged, coins struck with dies so well prepared, so precisely aligned, that they achieved what numismatists call an exceptional full steps designation. Those tiny architectural details on the reverse, the Monticello steps, perfectly formed, each one distinct, showing no sign of wear or weakness, a level of sharpness that even the mint rarely achieves. These coins were not meant to stand out, yet they did over the years. A handful surfaced, carefully preserved, untouched by circulation, each revealing the extraordinary craftsmanship hidden beneath an ordinary surface. The 1994 P. Jefferson Nickel became a legend not through hype, but through the quiet voice of discovery, the voice that whispers to collectors, "Look closer, examine deeper." History rewards those who see what others overlook. Every detail of this coin matters. Its standard weight remains 5 grams. Its composition 75% copper, 25% nickel. Its thickness 1.95 millimeters, and its diameter 21.21 millimeters. The familiar profile of Thomas Jefferson facing left. The word liberty in his own script, the year 1994 engraved beside it, and the proud Monticello on the reverse. But within these familiar details lies something rare. In certain 1994 P strikes, collectors have documented unusual doubling on Jefferson's eye and collar, and on the reverse, a faint but distinct doubling of the word Monticello. These subtle imperfections, known as double dies, turn an ordinary nickel into a treasure worth studying. Grading plays a crucial role in unlocking this value. When a 1994 P nickel is submitted to PCGs or NGC, its fate is determined under magnification. Experts examine every step of Monticello, every field, every detail of the luster. Coins that achieve MS68 or higher with full steps designation are nearly unmatched in rarity. Few examples exist in such condition, and when they appear at auction, bidding wars erupt. Because advanced collectors know, in the world of modern American coinage, pristine condition equals astronomical value. But what makes this coin so exceptional goes beyond its beauty. It lies in the precision of its minting. Some examples were struck on improperly prepared planchets or with slightly overpolished dies, creating mirrored surfaces more reminiscent of proof coins than regular circulation issues. These proof-like nickels, when confirmed and graded, become one of the most coveted modern errors in the entire Jefferson Nickel series. For those who dream of finding one, the path begins with knowledge. Search uncirculated rolls, estate collections, and mint sets from 1994. Study each coin carefully under good lighting. Pay attention to the steps of Monticello, the clarity of the portrait, the texture of the fields, and the placement of the P mint mark. If you find one with flawless luster, deep mirrors, or unusual doubling, you may be holding something extraordinary. Resist the urge to clean or handle it. Place it in a soft flip or holder, and submit it to PCGs or NGC for professional authentication. Once certified, your coin joins a global registry of documented rarities, its serial number recorded forever in numismatic history. Those who study coin grading understand how subtle distinctions determine life-changing differences in value. A coin graded Mensa 67 might sell for thousands, but a single grade higher can multiply that number dramatically. That's the delicate balance of the hobby, where precision and preservation turn curiosity into legacy. When collectors send their coins to PCGs or NGC, they aren't just verifying authenticity, they're cementing a place in history, because these institutions preserve trust in the numismatic world. The 1994 P. Jefferson Nickel is known among experts for its rarity and pristine form. Circulation wear quickly erodes the details of the steps and lettering, and only a fraction survived untouched. That scarcity, combined with modern demand, fuels its immense market value. Some of the highest quality examples have reached values approaching $17 million, not only because of rarity, but because of the symbolic beauty of a modern coin achieving legendary status. It proves that greatness doesn't always come from age, but from perfection, beyond its physical attributes. The 1994 P nickel teaches collectors the importance of patience, observation, and respect for preservation. It's a coin that connects generations, reminding new collectors that treasures still exist within reach. Numismatics is not just about money. It's about history, craft, and passion. Those who dedicate themselves to understanding coins learn to read them like stories. Every line, every mark, every shine tells of the moment it was born, and the hands that protected it. For those ready to sell, the best approach is methodical. First, authenticate through PCGs or NGC. Then consider professional auction houses like Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers. These platforms bring together serious buyers who understand the true worth of graded coins. For slightly lower value examples, certified listings on eBay or Great Collections can yield excellent results. But transparency is key. Include the grading serial number, high-resolution images, and certification details. That builds confidence and maximizes price. Timing also matters. Watch numismatic market trends. When collector demand for modern mint errors or high-grade examples spikes, prices surge. Some sellers hold their coins until major conventions like the Anna World's Fair of Money, where publicity drives value higher. Others prefer to sell privately through reputable dealers who handle elite collections. The strategy depends on your comfort, but always protect your coin until the transaction is finalized. The emotional power of this nickel lies in its paradox. It's small, common in form, yet among the rarest in perfection. It reminds every collector that value hides in patience, in knowledge, in the act of looking deeper. Maybe right now, someone watching this video will check their coin jar, pull out a 1994 P nickel, and notice the full steps shining back. The possibility alone fuels excitement across the numismatic community, because history loves those who dare to look. The Philadelphia Mint produced millions that year, yet just a few stand apart, destined for legend. Their journey from mint floor to modern auction halls mirrors the story of American determination itself, from humble beginnings to remarkable success. And as collectors chase these nickels, they aren't just hunting metal. They're preserving culture one coin at a time. To every viewer of World Rare Coin, remember this: the next time you hold a nickel, treat it with respect. Look closer, because what seems ordinary may be extraordinary. If you love stories like this, filled with real numismatic secrets, subscribe now. Hit the like button, comment what coin you are searching for, and share this story with every collector you know, because the next video might reveal a discovery even more astonishing than the 1994 P. Jefferson Nickel. Together we explore, together we learn, and together we keep the spirit of American coin collecting alive. This is World Rare Coin, reminding you that hidden fortune may be resting in your hands right now, waiting to be found, waiting to be told. Every coin has a heartbeat. Every nickel carries a story. From the 1973 Jefferson Nickel that whispered its secret fortune, to the 1981 D that revealed how patience and perfection create unimaginable value, to the 1994 P that proved modern coins can become legends, each one reminds us that history lives in our hands, that the smallest things can change our lives. In every shine of metal there is time, in every curve. There is art, in every mark. There is mystery. These coins are not just currency. They are fragments of the American story, each one struck with purpose, carried through generations, hidden, found, and reborn. Through collectors like you, the legacy continues. When you watch World Rare Coin, you are not just seeing coins, you are stepping into history, walking with the dreamers, the seekers, the explorers who look beyond the surface, who know that every detail matters, that one coin, one moment, one discovery can spark the thrill of a lifetime. So if your heart beats faster when you hear the sound of a coin dropping, if you feel the excitement when you open an old roll, if you believe that your next find could rewrite your story, then you are already part of our family. This world of collectors is built on curiosity, on wonder, on the belief that hidden treasures still exist, waiting for someone brave enough to look. Together we learn, together we explore, together we uncover the past that hides in plain sight. Every episode, every story, every discovery is a step closer to revealing the next great American treasure, the next rare coin, the next unforgettable legend. So like this video, comment your favorite discovery, share your own coin stories, and most importantly, subscribe to World Rare Coin, because the next chapter is already waiting. Somewhere in the shimmer of a forgotten dime, the weight of a worn quarter, the sound of a nickel turning in your palm. This is World Rare Coin, where history never fades, where value meets mystery, where collectors become storytellers, and where every coin has a voice. Listen closely, because the next one might just be calling your name.